Some souls are still being emanated in the divine. So these can be called divine souls, divine masters, and they may come to creation and experience or help other souls, but essentially they fully know their true original home, so they're not confused. They know exactly where they came from, exactly where home is, and when they go into creation, they know exactly what they're doing. The souls who got into creation at ParBrahmanda level, we could say they're older souls or more mature souls, because from our perspective here on earth, there are many souls who came into existence in ParBrahmanda, and they came into this universe to help the duality and encapsulated souls, to help them to go further up, to remind them of more positive creation, of the higher heavens. So generally, the souls who came into existence in ParBrahmanda, they would be older souls, they would be more mature souls, and they would be quite interested generally in more advanced spirituality, such as satsang, enlightenment, liberation, moksha. So they are usually interested in these topics, and there is some work to do on that. And the souls who came into existence in our local Brahmanda, most commonly, they would be not interested in meditation yet. Rarely, very rare. They cannot ever say 100%, but let's say 99% or more, they would be not interested in spirituality, meditation. What they're interested in is primarily normal life. Having good education, finding a good job, marrying, having kids, and going around the same cycle of creation until next lifetime comes. Of course, some souls who have experienced enough of life, normal life, they become ripened for spirituality. But usually they become very interested and pretty much stick with the common spirituality, which is what we call the inner light, inner love, unity consciousness. They're usually interested just in that, and they don't want to go further up. They say, oh, I discovered angels and now archangels. It's my thing, and this life I will dedicate to be angelic reader, Reiki healer, Kundalini, and I just want to work with energies, do healing of energies, and usual 5D things. The new age spirituality, basically. And they don't want to go further up. If you speak up with them about enlightenment, non-duality, they just like shake it off and no, what are you talking about? So that also shows that they're not yet ready for higher truth, higher knowledge, higher love. We may say they're still in some ways younger souls. Okay, so now I will answer, where is the seat of the soul? So the energy of the soul, or the light of the soul, gathers behind the third eye. This is where the light of the soul gathers, at the third eye center. The third eye center is a doorway to be opened and to start connecting with the soul. The soul is not seated in the Hridaya, the heart on the right. That is the seat of the spirit. And if that is new to you, then you can watch a YouTube video on my channel, What is Spirit and the 12 Domains of the Spirit. So let's be clear about this. The spirit is the center in the Hridaya, the heart on the right, and the soul, you connect with it at the third eye center. Do souls have specific qualities or uniqueness from the multiple experiences? Oh, of course. So each soul has unique experiences that it has experienced. This is why each and every soul is absolutely unique. There's no two souls who had the same experiences. It just doesn't exist. So each of the soul has unique experiences and has expanded its knowledge, we may say, expanded its divine knowledge. Each soul has remembered God as itself in its own unique way. It has gone through certain experiences and it has taken a unique spiritual journey. So there again, there is no two single same spiritual journeys when we truly look deeply within. Because even if the two brothers Muslims are doing the same Muslim practices, in their heart, in their soul, they're different. They have different relationship with God. They feel different things. They think different things. So it doesn't matter about religions as such. So each soul goes through unique journey, and therefore it uniquely knows God as itself. It uniquely experiences God as itself. And this is the beauty of diversity, that even though God is love and bliss and so on, but it will have a different flavor to each and every person, to each and every soul. So this is why even the souls who fully know God as divine, or even the souls who are fully liberated and their true home is the divine abode, even there they have opportunity to continue expanding their knowledge, their mastery of God, of the self. And that should be obvious by looking at spiritual teachers. If it was all the same, then every single spiritual teacher would be literally the same, but that's not the case. So when you meditate upon Ramana Maharishi, you feel a unique connection to him, to his being, to his soul, to the self shining through him. When you meditate with Ananda Mahima, you feel a uniquely different same God, same self shining through her is experienced differently. Is it possible to tell of which realm a soul emanated into? I already explained this. Looking by the present interest, we may have a better idea about that soul. Although nothing is set in stone, it's way more complex than that. There can be a divine soul that has came into life, let's say Krishna, for example, or Buddha. So these divine beings, they adopted a physical body. They went through their journey of awakening. So Buddha went through his unique journey. Krishna was advised by his guru, and Jesus went through his way of awakening, and all these beings went through a certain phases of awakening. But soon enough, when they fully awoke, they regained the knowledge, they regained the mastery, the wisdom of God at that huge degree. And that's why Buddha is Buddha, Krishna is Krishna, Jesus is Jesus. And that's why Alan Watts is Alan Watts, and Jiddu Krishnamurti is the way he is. So by looking at their life, then we may get a better idea what souls truly they are. So Buddha is a divine master. Alan Watts has a Zen philosophical spiritual awakening, mainly philosophical Zen, and so on and so on. So the vast difference is, and their life shows, after awakening, what they have realized, to which degree they receive the knowledge of God or experience the self. Before I continue with the questions, we need to understand that right now I was explaining about the souls who are shining through the human vehicle of consciousness. There are souls who are shining through animals, plants, insects. Every living being has a certain portion of soul shining into it. There are so many souls all around you. So many. How many nobody has counted. Even on this earth, how many souls are there? How many life forms are here? There's quadrillions and quadrillions and quadrillions. How many fish and birds and insects are there? Nobody has counted. So one of the Sikh gurus, Guru Arjan, says, do meet the Lord of the universe, for now is the time. After ages, passing through many different forms, have you attained the gift of human life? So human life is a gift, and even more so, maturity for spiritual life is even greater gift. So Meher Baba says there is one real birth. He used that word. He didn't specify more differences between emanation or creation. So he says there is one real birth. What is real birth? It is a birth of a drop in the ocean of reality. And I will continue with Kabir's quote saying that everybody knows that a drop merges back into the ocean, but very few know that the ocean merges back into the drop. So when the soul burns all the karma away, it is not only the soul that comes back to God, but God comes back to the soul. It's a reunion. Any form of creation or misbalance, miscreation, when it's burned off, there is a complete oneness. So soul has never truly been separate from God. God has always been in the heart of the soul, but the soul went through the journey of duality. So on the topic of egoity and the ego identification, so the jiva, which is a separated, so to speak, soul with the mind of ego, with the egoity, is confined in its narrow shell and devoid of understanding of the infinities of reality. And it claims itself as a separate individual existence. Again, Guru Arjan says, all actions performed in ego go to waste. As long as Jiva thinks that he is the doer, so long shall he continue wandering through the wombs of births. So you see, the problem is the misidentification, the egoity. When that goes away, the soul is one with God as God. Now, one of the ways how the ripened souls become liberated is not only by its own effort of burning through the karmas, doing all spiritual practices, but the soul becomes liberated by the grace of God. So when the soul is ripened, God's grace can redeem the soul and release it forever from the circuit of transmigration. Guru Nanak, the founder of the Sikh religion, says, they who have not cherished the Guru nor realized Nam, which is the divine light and sound stream, will continue to transmigrate, being reborn again and again. So those souls who are sheltered by Sadguru and who are realigned with the divine light and sound stream are protected from the cycles of reincarnation, karma, and problems. Somebody asks, what is the difference between the spirit and the soul? As I said, watch the video, what is spirit and the 12 domains of the spirit. But very briefly, I will answer you. The highest domain of the spirit is the Holy Spirit, or the divine light and sound stream. And every soul is assigned with a spirit of God. And this spirit travels throughout all the journeys of the soul and equally gets also veiled the same way as the soul does. So the spirit is a part of God's love that travels with you together and tries to guide the soul back to the love of God, but it equally gets veiled. Therefore, a true liberation is not only burning the karma of the soul, but also of the spirit. And there are 12 domains of the spirit. Okay, and we're coming to the end. If we are God, why do we still need to have relationship with God? This is the view from the dualistic concept. This question arises for someone who doesn't yet understand that essentially when you realize that you are God, you no longer have a relationship as such because you are that. But you have to keep focusing or keep practicing it, because if you don't, then being here in the universe of Brahmanda, there are many influences, many forces to condense into creation. So if you stop your meditation practice for a month or two, you will notice that thoughts start creeping into your mind, that you're coming out of balance, that you're not feeling so good anymore. Just like if you stop eating healthy food, then your body starts struggling again. So if you stop practicing love and devotion or focusing on the self, then again, the universe itself starts to take its unhealthy effects. Of course, if we were living right now in the ParBrahmanda universes, that wouldn't be an issue as such. But here in the lowest of the lowest creation, unfortunately, the forces of the nature are to veil. So the Maya is the strongest. The tamasic energies are strongest. And the last one is there another self beside the spirit in the Hridaya? And did Ramana mean the spirit? When you realize the self or God, there is a difference though in what degree your soul has cleared the karma and to what degree the spirit has cleared the karma. Unfortunately, many non-dual teachers today ignore both aspects. So they simply focus on realizing awareness, the self, God, and they completely ignore the soul and the spirit. Therefore, their advancement is not high. In an example of Ramana, he had quite balanced clearing of his karma, and his spirit, since he focused on the heart on the right, and he was nearly the only guru, well, there were more references though, but there are so few teachers, gurus who acknowledge the heart on the right. And Ramana did acknowledge the heart on the right. So the spirit was highly liberated, and therefore his realization of the self was also very deep. So he was quite balanced with the spirit, with the soul, with the self. That's why his overall advancement is quite high. Now, other teachers ignore either one aspect or both together.